Welcome along to another opposition preview. This Wednesday, Southampton sees the return of our former manager, Claude Puel, now at Leicester City. So here to tell us all the great things about him and why he's galvanised Leicester City. Phil from 100% LCFC, how are you, mate?
I'm good, Freddie. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. We've had a really good chat over on your channel. Go ahead and check that out if you haven't already.
Thanks, Freddie. And again, thanks again for your manager.
Well, we'll get into that straight away then. So obviously this game has everything on Claude Puel. You've only lost one game under him. What's happened? Why is he getting the best out of your side? Your style of football at the moment is something that we could only dream of whilst he was at Saints last season.
Yeah, I think before, when he was rumoured to be coming and when he was coming, a lot of Leicester fans initially were like reacting to the Saints fans. I could see on Twitter and Facebook saying, oh, unlucky Leicester fans, because he's a boring guy, he plays boring football. And I must agree, it didn't look a brilliant sort of addition to boss us around. But then we looked, before we got anywhere, we looked at his previous record, Southampton, and, you know, I think he's had 17 years at some top, albeit French clubs, but Monaco and Nice. And then, to be fair, Freddie, most Leicester fans would look at what he did for you guys and say, you know, finishing 8th in a cup final, I think for clubs our size, most season, that's a great... There's a lot of clubs in the Championship who would bite your hands off to be in that position. So we felt he was maybe a little bit hard done to, but obviously with our record with Claudio Ranieri, we're in no position to speak about how you treat managers either. Yeah,
well, some players in particular, as you sort of briefly mentioned, really flourishing under Claude Puel so far. Demarai Gray, the one that I've been really impressed by so far, really outstanding for the Fox. Maybe scored 3 recently. Looks frightening on the counter-attack. And I've just read that Claude Puel tried to sign Gray whilst he was at Southampton. But how can we keep your counter quiet?
I think that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to just get a little bit more. And he certainly likes the young players as well. You know, Demarai Gray's spent the last 18 months pretty much coming off the bench and looking okay at times off the bench, sometimes sensational and sometimes pretty average. But he's obviously given him some good, took him to one side, I can only say, and say, right, I'm going to, you know, he must have known he wanted to sign him. And I think he said, I want to see the best out of you. I'm giving you a chance. He's also played Ben Chilwell in defence, and he's played another guy called Chowdhury, who's been in our under-21. So he's immediately having an impact on the younger players, I think.
Yeah, and I think that was the reason why he was also employed by Southampton, because of our youth policy. You know, we've seen the emergence of Hesketh last season alongside Jack Stevens as well. So, you know, great to see that he's also done it. You've got also a player in your ranks, a bit like us, sort of a want-away player. Maybe he's January's coming. He wants to audition for other clubs. Riyad Mahrez looks like he's refound some of his form once again.
Yeah, I think he's playing his come-by-me football now, because he's... But again, I'm going to give Puel a little bit of credit there, because we've been watching him from the sides, Mahrez, saying he tries a trick and a flick every time he gets the ball, and that gets so predictable that I think teams have worked him out. So he started now 90% of the time not doing a trick and a flick and taking players on, which means that when he does do it, it suddenly gains a lot more, you know, advantage. So I'm going to give the manager a bit of credit on that side.
He was a player that when Claude went to Leicester, I thought he would get the best out of Mahrez. I think Claude tried to do it last season with Sofiane Boufal. Obviously, both come from the French league.
It's got to help, hasn't it, the language? If you can communicate, you've got a similar understanding. So it seems like he said, again, one of the first things Puel said when he came to Leicester was, I'm going to try and convince Mahrez to stay. Whether he has, I'm not sure.
OK, well, I imagine you haven't watched too much of Saints this season. But Charlie Austin scoring our goals, 4 and 4 at the moment. He'll look to get on the score sheet once again. So where are your weaknesses?
At the moment, we're looking fairly solid. The weakness is Charlie Austin in a way, because there's certain players, I'm sure Saints have it. Charlie Austin, whether he plays for QPR or Southampton, he always looks good. He was a player that I know when QPR got relegated, I was straight away saying, you know, he's a great buy. I think £4 million you said you got him. You know, what a snip he was. And I think he's one of those players that fans like, because he always puts in so much effort. He looks like he's trying, even if he's not scoring, you know you're getting 100% from Charlie Austin. He looks bothered about it. And I think he's going to be a threat. Our defence is looking fairly tight at the moment. Kasper Schmeichel's looking fairly, you know, impressive as well. So I think just the fact that it is Charlie Austin will cause us problems. He seems to know how to undo us.
And he knows where the goal is. So
he does.
All that being said, then, mate, what's your prediction? Give us your score, mate.
Apparently, Puel's never won 3 Premier League games on the trot, so this is unknown territory for him for 4. I want to say a Leicester win. If I'm honest, if I was putting a tenner down at the bookies, I'd be going for probably a 2-2 draw, to be fair. It's happened before with Leicester and Southampton. There's normally a couple of goals for both teams in the games. So I think I'm probably going to just go for 2-2 with Vardy. Vardy looking for his 50th goal, so I fancy him for a goal.
Vardy and Austin, can you imagine that in Gareth Southgate's next England squad?
Well, yeah, probably Harry Kane is just two streets ahead of both of them, isn't he, at the moment? But both good shouts.
Excellent stuff then, Phil. If you guys want to go ahead and check out 100% LCFC, they're over on Facebook, YouTube, all of that. Phil, thanks for joining us, mate.
Thanks, Freddie. See you soon.
Good to speak to you, and leave us your predictions. Leicester fans, if you come over, leave us your predictions. Why has Claude Puel galvanised the squad? Leave us your score predictions in below. Leave us your likes, your comments, and subscribe for more.